Breakfast is generally considered to be a healthy way to start the day, and more important than other meals. It is hard to disagree when "don't skip breakfast" is part of the official government advice on how to eat well and stay healthy. However, the origins of this well-known, and often repeated directive, and indeed the good reputation of breakfast, come from a surprising place. In 1917 an article appeared in Good Health, which stated that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, because it is the meal that gets the day started. The editor of the magazine was none other than Dr. John Harvey Kellogg, the founder of Kellogg's. It goes on to say that it should not be eaten hurriedly, and all the family, so far as possible, should partake of it together. And above all, it should be made up of easily digested foods, and balanced in such a way that the various food elements are present in the right proportions. It should not be a heavy meal, consisting of over 500 to 700 calories. The message was a clear swipe at the more traditional choice at that time of eggs and bacon. There is no doubt that, during the first half of the last century, breakfast would have been a particularly important meal for those who engaged in manual labor, many of whom began working hours before breakfast, and would stop to rest and refuel. During the latter decades, eating breakfast remained important as the availability and accessibility of on-the-go food was limited. It was unusual for most people working in factories, institutions or offices to stop for a quick snack when they felt hungry or eat at their desk while they worked. Times have now changed, and very few of us need to eat a big bowl of carbohydrates to get us through a strenuous morning tapping on our laptops. Most of us have the freedom to eat what we like when we feel like it. Breakfast does remain an important meal for children, and vulnerable individuals who may rely on others to feed them, but in these modern times breakfast is viewed as a choice, depending on how much fuel you need to get you through the morning. Does skipping breakfast makes you fat? So many of us find we do not have time for breakfast. In the UK it is thought that, as many as 1 in 3 people skip breakfast, while in the US this figure is 1 in 10. It is believed that, this could be a key factor in rising obesity rates. Breakfast helps us lose weight, we are told, and skipping it causes weight gain. But what's the science behind this counterintuitive claim? A popular view is that eating breakfast kickstarts metabolism, and an increased metabolic rate means more calories are burned up. Certainly it is true that, whenever a meal is eaten, there is a temporary small but significant increase in metabolic rate known as the thermic effect of food. However, this effect is proportional to what is eaten, not when it is eaten. What it doesn't do is set your metabolism off at an increased rate for the rest of the day. One study that investigated the effect of breakfast skipping on energy metabolism found that the skipped breakfast was compensated for by having bigger meals at lunch and supper, but made no difference to the total number of calories burned during a day. Then, there are claims that people who skip breakfast are also more likely to indulge in an unhealthy mid-morning snack, and put weight on that way. However, recent studies have challenged this, indicating that there is not generally a problem of overcompensation later. In fact, there is evidence to suggest that people who skip breakfast usually consume fewer calories during the day than those who don't skip it. Proponents of breakfast claim that breakfast eaters are healthier overall. This theory is backed up by many observational studies that show them to have healthier behaviors, and a lower risk of chronic conditions such as heart disease and diabetes. The trouble with observational studies is that they do not demonstrate causation. In other words, these studies show that people who have breakfast are more likely to be healthier, but they cannot prove that the breakfast itself causes this. Breakfast eaters may be healthier because they follow other wellness advice, such as exercising regularly, not smoking and moderating their salt, fat, sugar and alcohol intake, and because they are not too rushed to eat. With changing lifestyles, the different ways in which people work, and the huge choice of foods we have available to us pretty much 24/7, breakfast should be a choice, not a dictate. Do you need a bowl of porridge to get you through an office meeting? Probably not, but if you don't want to be distracted by hunger, a lighter choice of yogurt or eggs is a good idea. A bowl of porridge is the perfect choice for those spending a morning on their feet in a busy ward, classroom or warehouse. With a bit of thought as to what the day ahead holds, where we will be, what we will be doing, we should make our own choices about when we eat our first meal of the day.